like the MRO setup, an MRO Receipts, raising a workshop project, and then looking at the Inspection Workbench as well. We've got a couple more detailed webinars coming up in the future in about 3 weeks' time for aircraft 145 and component 145. So if you're interested in sort of a bit more detail, just make sure you sign up to one of those. The commercial elements of the MRO side of things was covered in a previous webinar under our commercial topic as well. So please go back to our YouTube channel should you wish to go and have a look at that. Like I said, these sessions are recorded and they will be going up on our YouTube channel should you want to revisit them at any point. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just jump straight into the demo. So hopefully you can all see my screen there with Aerotrac loaded. So what we'll do first is go through the sort of the MRO setup side of things. So from the main application, you want to head over to the administrator module, and then obviously in administrative setup, there's one area you probably want to have a look at first, possibly. Within company setup, there's a tab called System Options, and there's a separate tab called MRO. Now in here, there are a lot of detailed sort of specific options that you could set or unset depending on how you wish to operate within your organization. Specific labels, titles, those kind of things can all be modified and amended in here. So it's definitely worth a look your time going through some of these to see whether they are applicable to you or whether they'd be a good option for you to either implement or to turn off as well. One of them being that you can have it so when you complete an operation, if it's sort of the last operation, what it will do is it will complete all the previous jobs. So this particular option here, as it states, is completed operations 10, 20, and 50 would also mark operations 30 and 40 as complete. So that's something that's on as default, but you may want to turn that off. So that's company setup, and like I said, it's a good idea to go and have a look through some of those to see if any of them are applicable to you. So we'll come out of the company setup now, and we'll just minimize that drop down. Sorry, back into administrative setup. You've got this option, this screen here, MRO setup. So we just click on that, and that will load up this. So we've got a number of tabs along here, and the main ones to look at is these work scope details. So work scope details, so the way sort of the routings and everything operates within Aerotrac are linked by part number and work scope. You know, whether it's a repair, modification, overhaul type of work scope, and then sort of a specific detail, work scope detail that you can then select. We've also got the rework groups as well. So this also helps with the costings, and so allows you to set your fixed rates and pricings, so that when you do raise your quotes and estimates, all that information is automatically pulled through based on how you set up your project, your workshop project, in the work scope details. These rework groups are then also linked to sort of what's called repair schemes as well. And these will then be selectable potentially, depending on the project, if you have specific repair schemes set up in your routes, and these options would be available for you. Okay. So yeah, these three screens and 3 tabs definitely need to be set up when you are wanting to set up an MRO project of any kind. Okay. One thing we need to just cover as well is when you're setting up your MRO project, we need to take a few assumptions that you've set your part master up correctly, and you've got your customers already set up, the work scopes details are set like we showed before, the release type that you want to issue at the end of the project is also set, and that your route masters are created as well. Okay, so we'll just take each one of those in turn. So part master is set. Okay, so if we go back to the main Aerotrac application, under the materials tab, and part configuration, part master. And we're going to look specifically at this part because this is the part we're going to be working with today. So 12028 32-1, and it's a dual heat exchanger. So, okay. And the main thing you need to look at is what obviously the main front end details need to be set, but you need to go into this technical tab and ensure that here you've got rework status and you allow in-house rework. Make sure that that is ticked as well. That will allow the system then to generate and start a project and allow you to actually do some work on it internally. Okay. You can see here also that we've stated that it's got capability approved. Okay, so that means that we've gone through on the capability management screen. So here at the top, if you just click on capability management, this is where your quality department will actually state and give you authorization to actually work on this part. If you don't have capability, the system will not allow you to actually issue or complete the job. So it's one of the sort of fail safes for that. Okay. This is also where you can set your work scopes as well for that particular part. So here we've got it set so we can carry out inspection and testing, modifications, overall, and repairs. Again, depending on what authorization you have from your authorities, you can set those to whatever you can and what you're able to do. Those will then limit your options again in the other screens. And when you raise the project, you'll only be able to select what work scopes you've got authorization for. The other tab we need to look at specifically under the capability management is the release status. So this tab here, this is where you state what release types you are permitted to issue for that part number as well. Obviously, you can see there's a lot of different type of release we've got in this database. However, we've only specifically got these ones that are checked here. Okay, and today we're specifically going to be issuing a CA Part 145 for this particular job as well. So these are the sort of things you need to make sure are set up on the part master and the capability management, so that you are able to actually complete the job right through to the end to release. Because if you don't have a release type, you can't actually save or set your work scope details because the system's not saying, well, if you can't release it, then how are you actually going to do the work on it? So it's one of those fail safes built into the system. Okay. So that's capability management. Again, one thing we need to do as well is make sure you've got your customer set up. So here, just in the customer details, and you could here's where you can just add a customer. We won't go into much detail on this, but you just need to make sure there is a customer because each project is linked to a customer. Okay. Again, we did talk about the MRO setup, where you've got to make sure that your work scope details are set. So again, here, work scope details, particularly we're going to be using this repair work scope, which is a conditional maintenance that we've set up. You can set up as many as you wish for these, and then obviously depending on your capability, depends whether you can do these work scopes as well. Okay, so it's all sort of interlinked and allowing you to make the correct decision and also automate the process as well. Because what we need to do now is we'll look at the route master and see how that is set up as well. Okay, so if we go back to the main application, we'll just close out this part master screen. And if we go to this MRO tab, and you go to workshop setup, and here you've got route masters. Okay, so I've created a specific route master for today. So RM1117 here for that heat exchanger. Okay, and here we can see that we've got the rework groups that we looked at earlier as well. And here we've got the work scope details and the work scope repair. So this combination of part number and work scope details allows the system to automatically pull this through. So every time you get this part number, you receive it and you raise your project and you apply your route, you can literally select standard route and it will automatically know that this is the route to pull through, so you don't have to type in all these stages each time. You can set up as many routes as you wish as well, just by clicking adding new route. And then you've got these different types here. So your standard route, gives you a bit of a description. This is applied to a specific part number work scope detail, as we said earlier. We've got component rework. So obviously this, if you're doing like a large number of items like blades, turbine blades and all those, where they all have the same standard component rework, then you would use that. You can set up your repair schemes. So this applies to your rework groups. And multiple parts may share that rework group, but it allows you to sort of set up specific repair welds or specific CMM repairs for a sort of a group of projects, and you could just apply those. And then you've got a generic route master. There's nothing specific and freely selectable. So this may be something that at the start of every job you select this generic route for your basic incoming inspection and everything like that. That can be selected on any part of any work scope. Okay. So we'll just cancel that. And we'll just go back to the one that we have just created. All right. Okay. So here we've just added a basic few tasks, few items. So we can, if we just go on to edit this, so because we've approved it, it's not actually going to allow me to change anything. So to be able to carry out any edits, I need to unapprove it. And here you can say the route is unapproved. So this then allows you to edit as you need. Here we've got an inspect stage. So we've clicked on the inspection tick box here on the bottom right. That will then highlight and says that an inspection is required on the route when you pull it through to your job. You can also have things like independent duplicate inspections as well. So that'll give you the extra option to have that. You can put your instructions in the box. You can assign time. So here we've said it's going to take 5 hours to carry that inspection. This all helps with the planning and routing. If you have any specific tools for that particular operation, you can add those here. If there's any kits, so piece part kits that you require to carry out that job for replacements, you can also add a certificate statement for that operation and this will pull through into the release certificate. So here we've done that. We've just added four simple tasks just for this demonstration, but you can make this as complicated or as standard as you see fit for that particular part. Okay, so that is pretty much all the sort of basic setup, the minimum requirements for getting any kind of MRO project off the ground in the first instance. Okay. So basically the way this normally happens is the part arrives at your goods in, and your stores department will book it in. So they'll probably go through the GRN process. So if we go on to materials, stock movement, and we've got GRN generation here. Okay. They would then add a new GRN, and they would need to select this MRO receipt because obviously it's not from a purchase order or any repair process orders or anything like that. This is a new MRO receipt that's coming in. Okay. Excuse me. They would then select the customer, and then we would add the item here. Okay, so we this item 12832-1. If I can actually put in the correct numbers. Not this particular one, but basically what we'll show you is this is where you just add the information, and then you would save the GRN, and what would happen is you'll get this. Okay, so it's arrived, it's coming to the facility, all the details are here, and the stores and the system now knows there's one of these items are are at your dock, are on site. Okay. So one good thing about this is that you can then use the status board. So once the GRN has been created, you can use the status board here under the deliveries tab, and you've got this parts at dock. Now, if I sort by date, here we go. So we can see, so this is a good place for your planners or anyone to see when the jobs or when parts have arrived in. We can see here that this item has arrived today under this GRN. What this also does is it gives you a quick way of then raising the project straight from this status board screen. So here at the bottom, you can see here where it says workshop projects. Literally just click on that, it'll take that item and it will automatically populate. Obviously, I've already created a project just to sort of speed up the time for this particular demonstration, and the system's clever enough to sort of see that we actually already have a project with this same part number and serial number combination. So it's saying, do you want to create a new project anyway? We're just going to say no in this instance, but obviously if this is the first time you are setting it up, you click yes, and what it will do is it'll pull all that information through. All the customer details will get pulled through as well, so you don't have to type that all in. So I've just clicked on no. If you have already previously set it up, what you can do then is if you edit the project, here you've got at the top, you can say the unit has been received. Yes, we have received the unit, and then you'll get a drop down, and here we can see that particular GRN here. Okay, that will then remove it from that status board to when we save this, so that then will go off the status board and you're not then looking at it twice. So here, the workshop project, this screen here is basically the main sort of commercial hub sort of project area for this particular job. Okay, this is where you sort of set what the release type is, the customer details. Well, obviously we've got the work scope already because that's already been put in. If you go along all through the tabs, you can see your other customer projects for this particular customer, any dispatch details. Hold, if the project has been put on hold for whatever reason, you know, we're waiting on customer response or something like that, that can all be detailed here. And then also we'll stop the counter for the days for the planning side of things. Project status, this is a very useful screen. This will show you where all your associated documents are relating to this project. Once you start working, building up any purchase orders and repair orders, release certificates, all that kind of stuff will be detailed and listed here. And it's a good way to navigate to them as well. The marshalling tab's a good one as well, because obviously this will show any parts that are outstanding or we're waiting on, or if they've been delivered. And you'll use this legend here on the far left. So green is good normally, red is normally bad. Okay, that's the main thing to look at that. I've just set this up quickly again just to show you kind of what it looks like. And here we've got this bolt, and I'll show you how we get that onto here in a second. The labour tab shows you obviously any labour bookings that have been issued to this job. If you're using the time clock, obviously you can use the barcode scanners for individuals to log on. Excuse me. And then the diary function, something that's underutilized by a lot of companies. This allows you to have sort of, you know, a diary, a day-to-day sort of exchange. Have you spoke to the customer? Or, you know, have you made any decisions? Are you waiting on anything? So I just need to just take a quick drink. And it's something that's very useful, so that should someone come along to the project, they can actually see what you've done or what previous people have done or what communications you've had with the customer. Okay. And once all that's sort of been set up, you can just save that. If there's anything missing that is required by the system will tell you, so it won't actually let you save. So like if you're missing a date required or a release type, it will flag that and just say that you need to set that. Okay, so that's the basic project setup. The next place that you'll probably want to go to is more sort of the technical side, and this is where we go to the work scope details tab here. So we click on work scope details. And this is sort of more of the technical side of things. So this is where sort of maybe the engineers would get more involved with regarding sort of the specifics required. Here we've got the routing on the routing tab here. So this has been pulled through. So the way that is done, if we could actually, if I delete these, we can actually show you how it should hopefully pull through. Famous last words, that. So here we go. So here we go. What you do is normally you would come to this blank in the first instance. And we can click on add new route. So here we've got our options. So we've got a generic route potentially that we can add, or if you want to, you can just click on custom route and you can put whatever you want on. But because we'd already set up the route master before, the system will go and look at that part number and that work scope that we selected for repair. So we just use standard route master, click OK. It automatically pulls in all those items from that route master. Here we've got that route master number here, RN1117. Okay, so that's all been pulled through automatically as well. On this screen as well, you do still get your project status and your marshalling tabs as well. So this allows the engineers to also keep on top of anything like that. Parts embodied, if there are any parts that you need to sort of disassemble and remove, you can have those listed here, normally from the BOBs, or if you also need to do any sub work on any of the items as well. Again, the work scope details is all set here, and this is where all that was being pulled through. So obviously, if it's not exactly correct on the project, the engineer can come to the work scope details and make any amendments that they require as well here. And then we can save that. So once that's saved, what you then need to do is, so what happens is now that this is also now already set up in the system. However, it's not being released to the shop. So it's not any of the counters or the timers or the dates aren't actually being worked out yet, because you've not actually physically released this job to actually be worked. This is where you then need to sort of release to the workshop, this big red button down here. Click on that. Do you wish to release this project to the workshop? And you go yes for that. Okay. It will then say the project has been released and it's raised an inspection report 11290. Okay. So if we go to this project status, and here we've got that inspection report. So this is what's called the Inspection Workbench. Okay. So this is where the guys on the shop floor would basically interact with that MRO project. Okay, this is where they can add any parts required. So if we go to this parts remove required tab, you can see this is that bolt that I added. All they would need to do is edit this and be able to add any parts that they need. Okay. when we got also the routing as well. So it's so you can see how when it's been planned to be completed based on the turnaround times that would be set in the route. Okay, so obviously it's estimated that we'll carry out the final inspection on the 3rd of April, just because that's how many days it's going to take to do. Okay, there's also this unscheduled tab. So if whilst the engineers are carrying out any work and they get to a specific stage, if there's a defect or something additional that they need to report or put into the system, they can easily add that to the unscheduled tab just by clicking on add, and they can add a new generic task, which will allow them to then detail what the actions are, what actions will be taken, and report it as a defect as well. Sometimes, especially depending on how your system options are set, any defects may need to be approved by the customer. So what that'll do is it will then flag up and say that the customer needs to authorize this work and this additional work that you may not have quoted or estimated, and will then flag up to hold the project. Okay. So we'll just close that. And then, yeah, that will just create a new operation, allow you to do all that. Yeah, so the parts remove required. So we're stating we require one of these. So anything that's put onto here, what you would then need to do is to actually then create what's called a material review. So this part that's been requested also shows up on the status board. If I just come out of these now and go back to the status board and the inspect tab, here we've got this part. This part requires replacement, so we need one of these. So part of the commercial process is you need to obviously review these parts to actually say, you know, are we going to have to buy a new one? Have we got stock of it? Anything like that? Is it the correct part? Are there any alternatives? So from here, you can check the items that are needed for this particular project. And if you click on material review at the bottom, obviously my last review wasn't, I already had it open, so I'll just cancel that and go back. We'll start again. So highlight, check the box, material review, and here it's pulled in all the information from that project automatically, which report, that inspection workbench report project. And here it's stating, right, we need one of these. And also here you can see actually what free stock you've got as well. So we've actually can see we've got 2 free stock of this item at this condition as well. And it's required for this conditional maintenance work scope, for specifically operation 30. Okay. And then what you can also do is you can hold any demands or allocations, because obviously, again, you may need the customer to authorize this. And also what you may want to do is approve a project for estimating. So once you've done all your initial inspection, you've added all your parts to your inspection workbench, and you raise your material review, you pulled all those parts in, you can then approve this material review is now ready, and we can set up an estimate. We won't go through the estimate process because, again, that was all covered in the commercial webinar that we did a few weeks ago. So just go and have a look at that. Any other items that you may also have will also be listed here as well. So we can then save that material review. Okay, do you wish to allocate available free stock? So obviously, if you're happy to, this will automatically, any free stock for any of these items will automatically be allocated. We can click on yes. So as you can see, the material review has been updated. We've allocated one, and it's also reduced the free stock now that's available to anyone else. So the system has allocated that stock to this project, and this will now pop up on the stores department's picking screen, and then they'll be able to pick that part for this. And they actually can be done straight from here. So we can go to the picking list here, new picking list. We can do first in, first out for this specific job, operation 30, and we've got this part here already to go. We can then save that, confirm delivery. So that basically confirms that that part has now been picked and it's now been issued to that job. So if we go back to our project, so obviously commercial department or project planner wants to just see where we're up to with any bits and pieces. They can go back to their project, have a look. We can look at the project. We can go to the marshalling tab, and here we've got a blue box, which that basically indicates the delivery has been confirmed. So that part has been delivered, and here it says it's been delivered to the shop. Okay, so now that basically is showing that that item is completed and done with. As I said earlier, we've got the project status, and here we've got these 3 different documents associated with this project. So that the inspection workbench, the inspection report, we've got that material review that we've raised, and that also that picking list as well that was generated for that particular part that we've just issued. Okay. So now that we've done basically that kind of stuff or issued parts, there's also to update obviously your work in progress. So obviously we need to show that the work is being done. So this can be done and updated via the View Update WIP button here. Okay. So obviously what you can do is if you are just going to complete the job straight at the end, there's a very quick and easy to say project complete. What this will do is it'll just basically automatically close and complete all the items for each item from this day. Or which we should be doing, which is the best way, is obviously doing and updating the items individually as well. Okay, so we can update when the actual completion date for this particular item was, and we can say that that was actually done today. and who it was done by, Tracware. Okay, and that was done. Okay, like I said before, if we then save that, that's now obviously committed that, and it says down complete, and it says we're 5 days ahead of schedule. Okay, so obviously it was due to be completed on the 26th, but we actually completed it today. What I'm just going to do now, just for the quick of ease of showing how to sort of close and complete a project, I'm just going to project complete. Okay, warning, this project has not completed all operations you wish to continue. So basically it's saying that you've not actually completed all of these, but what we'll do then is if we do, the operation will default to the project completion date. Okay. Okay. Obviously this is a live part. We're not going to look at the live details today. This is just sort of go through quickly this particular job. Okay. Now we've got to basically change that the project completion date if required, and click on save or cancel. As you can see, the system is sort of prompting you with all the information you need and how to go through and complete a project. Yeah. Again, it does give you that warning. You will not be able to edit this project in the Inspection Workbench after completion. So basically, any of the engineers or anything like that, you won't be able to add any new materials, book any new time or anything like that, or amend it once it's been completed. So if you need to, you can change this complete date, and if you're happy with it, we can. Or basically, you've also got these other options. You know, if it's been scrapped or anything like that, should you not have actually done any work on it, they can all be set now as well. But we're just going to put the completion date as today. Click on save, and basically that job is now completed. As far as the system's concerned, that job is now finished. The best thing to do now, then, once you've obviously completed the job that you're ready to do, you can then issue the release certificate. If you click on release certificate, you select the project, and what it does is it automatically pulls through all the details for you. In here, in the remarks box, you can see that it's actually got a manual reference. Now, this is actually pulled from the work scope details, from the route master. So if we just quickly cancel that for now, just whilst we go through, if I take us back to the route master, so MRO route masters, if I select that route master again, RN 7, that one. So one of the things required for when you set up a route master is you do have to select an OEM manual. And as you can see here, that has been selected here. And what we've got and how we've got it set up is that manual reference will automatically get pulled through to that release certificate. Okay, and it's based on this route master. Okay, so that's something just to be aware of as well. Go back to the workshop project again. We can pick that one up again. Obviously, we can see when it was released, we can see it was completed. Go to the work scope details. One thing I have forgotten to talk about, apologies, is obviously when you do release it to the project, you can print the pack. So if you do need paper versions of the routings and everything like that, if you click on print pack, this is all the paperwork that you could to generate. You just highlight all the ones that you wish. And what we'll do is we'll just do this routing one here. You click on preview. This will give you a quick preview of what that route looks like. And as you can see here, this is printed all the operations with inspection stamps. And as you can see, obviously, because we'd entered it in the WIP update, it's automatically put those completion dates in for us as well. But you can print this off before the project if you're going to use manual paper copies as well. If you have also got the time clock feature set up with the barcoding, you'd also see under each of these a unique barcode that you would scan to be able to book that time too. That's where you sort of generate all your paperwork from. So again, we can just go straight back to the release certificate. We put that in. We repaired the item. Who's signing the certificate, and then we can click on save. pulled it all through, preview the report. And this will be a draft because we've not confirmed it. There's your CA Form 1 being generated there, pulling through all the work order details and everything like that. Obviously, if it's a live item, they would all be detailed here as well. And we've got all the information on the who's signing it as well. Then obviously, if we're happy to, we can then confirm that once we've confirmed it, and then that's also confirmed and is now can't be edited. So we come out of that, and we go back to the project status. And you can see here we've got this as a new document that's just been added. We've got this release certificate. So any of these, if you just double click on them, it will automatically bring up that particular document within the system. So here, and you can see it says the project was completed as well, so that you can't edit any of these. Here you've got your details, serial number, batch details, where the item was picked from. We've got that material review, which we can double click, again, showing you that the project's already been completed, so you can't really edit anything from it. We go straight back to that release certificate as well, and it's been confirmed as well. So that's a quick way to sort of navigate and get to sort of any documents, especially if you're sort of a project manager or just want to see where things are up to or identify things. Again, that marshalling tab is showing you where any of your parts that are required, where they're up to, if they've been delivered, they're out on a purchase order, anything like that. Okay. And that's pretty much basically a sort of completed MRO project. Like I said, we are going to be doing more detailed 145 component and 145 aircraft webinars in a couple of weeks. This was just sort of designed to give you an overview of sort of the MRO side of things and the different areas and sort of like that introduction, so that if you do come to any of those other webinars, you'll have a better foundation of understanding, especially to some of the screens and things that are available to you. Okay. Well, hopefully you've all found that interesting. Thank you for attending. If you don't have any questions, like I say, feel free. Again, if you do have anything, please reach out either to your customer account manager or submit a support log, and that way we can sort of help you with anything that you do need. One thing that we would ask, please, is if you could provide some feedback as well for these webinars. If you can either scan the QR code if you've got a mobile phone, or there is a link in at the bottom there. What I will quickly do actually is just grab a copy of that link and I'll put it into the chat for everyone, so that it'll be easier to actually click on, really, to be honest. So it saves you from having to scan the actual QR code. So I'll just pull that up. But any feedback, whether if there's if there was enough information, not enough information, if you found it useful, they are anonymous as well, so we don't know who said what. It does sort of just allow us to just improve these for the future as well. Again, just to confirm that these do go up onto our YouTube channel, so probably in about a week's time, once we've sort of edited it all out and made it sort of a bit more presentable, getting rid out any of the beginning bits that aren't any use. So you can come back to these at any point and watch them again. We have got all the previous ones that are all up at the minute, so do go and have a look at some of those if you've not already done so. I have just posted that link in the chat, so again, if you could please provide some feedback, that would be brilliant. Otherwise, thank you very, very much for your time, and have a good day.